In this video, we'll talk about how to take the power of the forecaster and incorporate it with the power of the Explorer. We'll use the Explorer to identify trading opportunities on the market today, and then take those and identify them in the forecaster to use the technical and forward forecasting to help us understand the direction of price after an event has happened. With that, let's go ahead and go into MetaStock. We'll begin this workflow in the Explorer inside the Power Console. The Explorer is going to allow us to now have specific scans that are tied to the forecaster and the events that occur in the forecaster. So if we come in to the Explorer, you'll see a list of explorations that are labeled forecaster and then a technical event. So for this particular workflow, we're going to use the 52-week high. So we're going to scan for stocks that are meeting their 52-week high today and then be able to forecast price based off of that scan. So let's go ahead and select our forecaster 52-week high. We'll choose next. And then let's take the S&P 100 as our list to scan. So I'll select the S&P 100, make sure select all is chosen. Choose next. And we'll just use load minimum records. And we'll use the current date time interval. That's all fine. And we'll go ahead and start our exploration. So the scan is going to go out for us and identify stocks that are meeting our criteria of 52-week high happening today. So let's go ahead and look at our report. Okay, so we have 6 stocks that have met our criteria. So there's 6 stocks today that meet our criteria of a 52-week high. And we want to then take that list and see how well it forecasts based off of the event markers within the forecaster. So there's a few things that we can do. We can save this list and make it a favorite folder that we can go back to. Or when we go to the forecaster, we can go through results of last exploration. Let's go ahead and make this a list. So I'm going to choose Save List, Create New, and then I'll call this my 52-week high, and then I'll put my date, so 11 of 13. Create. Okay, so now I have my custom list. I'll choose OK. I can close this. And now you'll see here at the top of my instrument list, I have my 52-week high list. So what we want to do is we don't want to open these up as standard charts. We want to open these up in the forecaster. So let's go ahead and choose forecaster. And let's go to the 52-week high. So I had 6 stocks. Now, it can become your choice here if you want to open all the stocks or one stock at a time. Let's go ahead and open up the first one just as a view and see how it's performed. So we'll select Next, leave our defaults, and start the forecaster. Now, as the forecaster opens, you'll notice in the last workflow what happened is it may not have been the event that we recognized right away. So here we're actually seeing the event pop to the top because we are actually having an event that occurs today, and that allows us to see it right there. Okay, so we're looking at our forecast cloud. So what do we see right away with this forecast cloud? Well, there's actually some really interesting things that are happening with this forecast cloud. We can see that price tends to stay over the first 30 days fairly flat within this range of a 52-week high. But after that 30-day period, what do we have? We have a pullback that happens on this chart. So we'll typically go around 30 days within a range, and then we will pull back about 5%, and then retrace back up into about flat, and then 180 days later we end up about 5%. So that's not a lot of move within that period of time. We have slight pullbacks, so if you're looking for those 5% moves, that would be a great range for you to be able to identify. Let's maybe look at one of the other ones. Let's go click on Open a New Analyses over here in the corner, and let's open up DuPont and see what DuPont brings up. Okay, so now I selected both, so it's going to bring Allstate and DuPont up. So let's go ahead and click on the DuPont tab. So now we can see our price, volume, and event markers. It's still calculating our forecast cloud on this one, so we'll give it just a second here. Okay, so what do we see with this one? Okay, this one actually moves a lot faster than Allstate did, in that you see just for about 7 days it stays in this range, and then it starts to have a tendency to pull up to about that 20-day range, and then we have a retracement down again to about that 5% level, where it will come down and go so this could be a great short opportunity to go head down to that 5% level, and then around day 60 we have that retracement back up, so we're going from negative 5% up to 5%, so we have about a 10% move there. Okay, so we can then follow this pullback again and see it retrace back up. To the end of 180 days, it's typically about 10% up overall. Okay, so let's look at our statistic likelihood on these. Okay, so if we go into, let's go into about, we want to see about day 60 and see where that is. So after 60 days, after the event occurs with a probability of 95%, the closing price appears to be up about 1.5% with a standard deviation of 0.05. Okay, statistical margin of error 10%. So we can come down here and let's look at 180 days. Okay, so 188 days out, it tends to be about 8.42% higher. Okay, so we can use this workflow to help us just quickly scan through a list of stocks, identify opportunities, and then take those over into the forecaster to help us identify how that price is going to move. Our expectations as traders is where's the price going to move after I've made my buy or sell short opportunity. What is it going to do? And that's where the forecaster again can help us. We've identified an opportunity today. We put it into the forecaster and we can see where price takes us. Now again, if we'd like to see how historically this is done, we could then scroll in to a past event and we can click on it and we can see how price is forecasted based off of that historically and how well it looks like it's done, and see if it really does map within that area. Okay, so there's our past event, and you can see price really stays right there within that bright area, just as it's forecasted to do. Has that pull down toward the bottom of the range, and now it's retracing back up and heading up toward the top range of the cloud. So you can see how we can use this as price target stops and use it as levels to help us identify those moves in the market.